VACAY-JayTV.
What up, what up, what up, what up? Yeah, what's good, what's good, what's good? It's your man VACAY-J back once again with another live event. Here we are, family. Here we are, family. What's good, what's good, what's good? What's going on, fam? It's your man, it's your boy, it's your cousin, it's your homie, it's the dude. VACAY-JayTV back in the building, fam. And here we are. We're going to talk about Godfather of Harlem. Let me tell y'all briefly what's going on. The reason why we're going live today is because it's been taking a year and a day to upload my video. I don't know what's going on. I mean, last week I just uploaded the last episode, 30-something minutes, and here we are. I got a 27-minute video and it doesn't want to upload. For whatever reason, we're working on it. But here we are, live in the flesh. It's your boy, it's your man. What's going on? Support Gaming in the building. What's good, what's good? VACAY MVPs are in the building. And y'all already know I do the impromptu lives, you know what I mean? So, whoever comes through comes through. If you're watching the replay, appreciate you watching the replay. But we're going to talk about Godfather of Harlem. If you're watching the show, then you're definitely in the right place. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You said, I thought you were live. Yeah. Didn't notice. Didn't notice this pre. No. This is not pre-recorded, bro. This is not pre-recorded. I am live in the flesh. I'm in the flesh, bro. In the flesh. Here we are. We live. Not pre-recorded, family. Not pre-recorded at all. We are live right now. And again, what I was saying was I was attempting to upload my weekly video that I usually do. I usually do a weekly video recap, right? And for whatever reason, YouTube is not allowing my video to upload. It's like uploading till about maybe 70%, and then it'll just get frozen right there. And I'm just like, what's going on, man? You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, you know what? I gotta connect with my people who are still watching Godfather of Harlem. So, we're up to episode 8 right now. What's going on? Lord Bison in the building. All right. From Lake Washington. All right. What's good, my brother? Salute, my brother. Thank you for coming through. Thank you for coming through. So, yeah, like I said, I usually, upload my pre-recorded video, right? I got, all the graphics and everything. But for whatever reason, YouTube's like, nah, bruh. I don't know why. Maybe it's my internet connection. I got a new internet connection. So it might be that, got to check on my upload speed. But anyway, we are here to discuss Godfather of Harlem, one of my favorite shows. You know what I'm saying? This is one of my favorite shows. And if you watch Godfather of Harlem, salute to you, because this is history. This is all about Bumpy Johnson. You see him right there, Bumpy Johnson right there. And how, the gangsters of Harlem, pretty much took over Harlem. If you ever watch American Gangster, you saw Denzel Washington playing the role of Frank Lucas. Frank Lucas is right behind me, right there. And yeah, man, definitely some great history. Definitely a great show for me. For me, I take it personally. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to discuss some of the highlights, some of the things that stood out to me. This last episode was called Black and White. And yeah, there's a reason why it's called Black and White. So we're just going to discuss a couple of things that stood out to me. If you watch the show, let me know. Hit that like button for your boy. And we're going to discuss it. So first thing we want to talk about is the beginning of the show. And we see your boy Bumpy Johnson. And he, at this point, has pretty much been taken over, right? His Club St. Clair was taken over by this guy right here. Yeah. Joe Colombo, man. Joe Colombo is a rat. Joe Colombo has been trying to take over Harlem. He's trying to get back at Bumpy Johnson and Chin Gigante because they locked him up like about 13 months, right? I don't know how he got out, who he ratted to, but he got out, and now he is trying to take over Harlem and absolutely destroy Bumpy Johnson right here and anybody connected to him. So he now did a gangster corporate takeover and took over Club St. Clair's. Now, that club is connected to all of Bumpy's assets. We're talking about his apartments, his businesses. You know, $3 million. You got a $3 million loan from this bank, and he put up all his assets. So now he's talking with the bankers, right? He's talking with the bankers, and they're like, look, if you lost to St. Clair, there's no more money coming in to pay that loan back. We're going to have to take your assets. And, you know, they got a picture of their boy, the other banker, who was taken out by some of the other gangsters. You know, it wasn't him. It was the Italian family. And they're like, yeah, we should have listened to our guy. And he's hanging on the wall. A picture's hanging on the wall, right? And Bumpy has to remind them, like, look, your boy was taken out by some gangsters. It wasn't me, because I'm not doing that anymore. But I will resort back to gangster if needed. So I need y'all to pay out of your pocket, okay? And hold me over for a couple of months as I straighten these things out. You know, and the guy was like, yo, dude, shut up. He will resort to being the gangster again. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, he had to do what he had to do. So they're going to hold him over. One thing that I always highlight in most of my Godfather of Harlem recaps, what's going on, fam? My Godfather of Harlem recap is the fact that Mamie, I love me some Mamie Johnson, man. Mamie Johnson, and the young lady that plays Mamie Johnson, man, she's from Harlem, man. She is beautiful. And one thing I love about Mamie, man, she stands by her man. Mamie, when Bumpy came back home, she was all boxed up, ready to move out. You know what I'm saying? She was already like, yo, whatever we got to do, we'll do. And Bumpy's like, nah, they're going to hold us over. They're going to give us some grace for like a couple months as I straighten this stuff out. And she got boxes, and she hugging him like, yo, you know, I told you before, man, I will live in a box with you as long as I'm with you. Now, how many ladies in 2025 can honestly say, if your man went broke and you had to move out, get evicted, and live in a box, would you live with your man as long as you with your man? Ladies, be honest. All right, be honest. Would you stay with your man, Bumpy Johnson right here, who has given you almost everything, right? Blessed you with jewels and lifestyle and everything else like that. And now he's not able to do that because he pretty much got robbed from another gangster. Would you be living in a box with your man? Okay, standing by your man. I don't know. Ladies, chime in. Fellas, do you think that the ladies of 2025 will stay with their man if their man went broke or got evicted? I don't know. I don't know. Let me see. Let me look at the chat. Let me see what y'all talking about. Lord Bison, my guy, he says episode 9 was lame. Pettigrew turned traitor over his yeah, I know. I was mad. You know, I like, you know, I like every episode, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? It's just the characters we don't like, right? And we're going to talk about Pettigrew in a minute. Sport Gamer says OG Bobby Johnson versus OG Bobby Johnson. Okay. I will take OG Bobby Johnson over Bumpy Johnson. Bobby Johnson will be taken out by Bumpy Johnson. Okay. I'll take Bumpy Johnson. Lord Bison says the actress who plays Mamie is fire. Yes, sir. Yes, she is, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I don't know who that is. Sport Gaming, you know what to do. These modern women would be like the Flash and run the Flash. I know, man. I know. Ladies, you know, just be honest. Would you stand by your man? You know what I'm saying? Bumpy Johnson has made millions and millions of dollars. If he made it once, he can make it again, right? But that's what I love about Mamie. Mamie will hold it down. And I think this episode right here was, of course, Bumpy, right? And the fellas and everything he's going through with the gangsters and the family. But this was more Mamie, right? This was more Mamie this time because Mamie was on a mission and Mamie was trying to make her way into getting more. That's her mission right now. She's on the arts board, the board of art or whatever they want to call it. And she has to kiss a little bit of in order to get these black artists and writers in front of the world. You know what I'm saying? And this board is going to help her. She had to pay $100,000 in order to be on this board. But she's on a mission to get this guy, Truman, right? This little white dude. I think he was gay or something like that. I guess he was, but he was like, yeah, his voice like, I'm gonna do this, and we're gonna have a party and a ball. Like that's the way he was talking. So you can assume whatever you want to assume. But for whatever reason, he doesn't like James Baldwin, right? Because I guess they got beef. I guess they used to be friends, but now they're not friends because I guess James Baldwin is telling the truth. He's like uncovering everything. And this other guy, he's kind of not, he's a white guy. He's not really trying to uncover a lot. But James Baldwin was telling the truth about the ghettos, about, just the black plight and what was going on in the 60s at that particular time through his writing. You know what I'm saying? So they're just on two different ideals. But one thing that I like about Mamie, man, Mamie is going to push the envelope, man. She told him straight up, yo, I'm thinking about inviting James Baldwin. And they're like, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, right? She getting all dressed up and getting ready. And Mamie made it happen. You know what I'm saying? Even when dude was like, nah, you shouldn't be here. She's like, yo, come on, man. Like, you guys are great writers, black, white, gay, straight, whatever it is. Like, the world needs to know who you guys are. Y'all need to come together, put your feud aside. And I honestly think this guy was just jealous. I think he was jealous of James Baldwin. But she made him shake hands. And yeah, they was taking pictures in the whole nine. You know what I'm saying? She's the queen of the ball, man. Mamie doing her thing. I like Mamie. Mamie is always going to push the envelope for good cause. You know what I mean? Like even with a couple of episodes, was it last episode? I think it was last episode. She was trying to get on that board. She needed $100,000. She didn't want to ask Bumpy because Bumpy he don't sell Doogie no more. You know what Doogie is. And he has this club. So she didn't really want to bother him. And she went out and she pawned her own jewelry just to not bother her man and just come up with her own money. You know what I mean? So I like Mamie, man, because, she's her own woman and she's going to push and she's going to support her man. That's what I like about it. You know what I'm saying? How many ladies out there going to support your man? I don't know. So let's go back to Bumpy's story, though, because Bumpy, now that he got pretty much robbed by Colombo, you know what I'm saying? Colombo, he's a jackass, right? And Bumpy had to call in another big dog, Bonanno. So this guy, man, Bonanno, he was on the show last season and everything else like that. And he went wild. He was about to take out all the families. And Bumpy pretty much convinced the families not to take him out. And they sent them off to Arizona. Okay. They sent them to Arizona just so he can get out of town. And Bumpy pretty much kind of saved his life. But he calls him Bonanno. He says, listen, man, we got to take out this guy, Joe Colombo, because he's trying to take over Harlem and he's trying to pretty much take over the family. If he takes over Harlem, he's going to take over all the families and everything's going to go to you know what I'm saying? But really, Bumpy called him Bonanno because, yeah, he got outsmarted by Colombo. And he wants his club back or he wants his money back. Because right now, Bumpy is broke. Okay? That's why Pettigrew was acting wild, okay? And we're going to talk about Pettigrew in a minute. I'm going to hold out on Pettigrew. We'll talk about a couple other things. So, Bonanno, he's trying to talk to the families. Freaking, what's the name? Pino, that's down with Stella Gigante. He puts a wrench in it all because he's saying that he has no problem with Joe Colombo, right? Pino has no problem with Joe Colombo because Joe Colombo's putting money in their pocket and he's Italian and Pino doesn't like black people. We know that. Okay. We know that. So Bumpy tells Stella to try to convince Pino to get down because he needs all the families down in order to take out Joe Colombo. You know what I'm saying? You need all the families or a few of the families. So, even Bumpy sits down with your man, Joe Colombo. And Joe Colombo's like, yo, all right, so when you going to start selling Doogie? He's like, I'm not going to sell Doogie. He's like, yo, we got to work out this partnership. He's like, there's no partnership. And your boy, Joe Colombo, gets in Bumpy's face on some like, yo, you put me up in jail for 13 months. You think I'm not going to forgive you for that? You broke now. You going to work for me. And Bumpy Johnson's like, nah, I'm not going to work for you. I'm never going to work for you, man. It's like, well, I don't have any use for you. You know what I'm saying? So he goes back to Bonanno and Bonanno says, look, when there's issue and a problem in the way, okay, you're going to have to get rid of the problem. And Joe Colombo is the problem. But Bumpy's on some like, yo, I can't take out a made man. That's crazy because he's like a made man himself. You know, people always ask the question, well, why don't they just take out Bumpy Johnson? Bumpy Johnson has the blessings of the family, and Bumpy Johnson pretty much controls Harlem. And that's where they get a lot of money from Harlem, through Bumpy Johnson. So if they get rid of Bumpy Johnson, they get rid of their money. So Bumpy Johnson's pretty much the only black man. It was kind of like a made man back then where the Italian families didn't want to touch him so they can continue to get their business on. But he stopped selling Doogie, started that club, so he was making a little bit of money from that. But it wasn't like the money coming from the Doogie, as they call it, Doogie back in the day. All right? So make a long story short, man, let's get to it, man. At the end of the day, your boy right here, all the way on that far left, Pettigrew, Del Pettigrew, has been down with Bumpy since the beginning. Him in the middle, that's Chance. Right next to Chance, light-skinned guy, that's Frank Lucas. And Pettigrew, man, he has just been bucking back. Ever since Bumpy had the heart attack, he ain't been making the right decisions, right? Ain't been making the right decisions. You know, like, we got to be careful. And Chance is like, yo, relax, man. Bumpy is making the right decisions, man. You got to relax. Pettigrew, to me, seemed real antsy, man. Like, this dude seems so antsy because he's like, yo, we going to go broke, you know, if we don't sell a Doogie. He always was pushing to sell a Doogie. He's always bucking back at Bumpy Johnson. And it's like, yo, dog, when they had an argument and he was like, listen, I'll take out Joe Colombo myself. Pettigrew's like, yo, I'll take him out myself. I'll take my knife, jigger. I'll jig him, do whatever it takes. And Bumpy's like, nah, we're not going to do it that way. We're going to figure out another way. But Pettigrew kept pushing. And your boy Frank Lucas was like, yo, you need to show some respect. And Chance said the same thing. So Chance eventually just walked away. And I can't believe it. I couldn't believe that, not Chance, Pettigrew walked away from Bumpy Johnson and said, F you, F everybody. And he walked away. And he's no longer down with Bumpy Johnson after all of these years being down with Bumpy Johnson. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what that was about. He just didn't want to starve. He wanted Bumpy to take out Joe Colombo, gangster style. But Bumpy's trying to do it. He's trying to turn over a new leaf all the way because Malcolm X, right? He's trying to be, what's the word? Not liberal. He's just trying to be more sensible with, you know, how he moves. You know, back in the day, a couple seasons ago, he would have been slit Joe Colombo's throat. It would have been over, you know, and be like, I don't know what happened. He'd be like, I don't know what happened. Somebody must have taken him out. That's what old Bumpy would have done. But new Bumpy, since Malcolm X's unalivement, he is now playing it kind of safe. He's trying to do it a smarter way. So another thing that stood out to me was your girl, Elise. Now, Elise Johnson is down with the Black Panthers. And she got word from her boy, Omar, who got locked up. He wrongly got locked up because he was there trying to protect Malcolm X. And there was some other guys that they found out from the Newark Mosque that really took out Malcolm X. But it was somebody behind that, and they're trying to figure that out. So Omar, while he's locked up, these guys are talking and all of this and that. Say, yeah, you know, this white guy, you know, he paid us, and we went up in there and blasted Malcolm X, man, and we got paid. So Omar was like, yo, give me a name. And Omar got the name Kareem. So he told Elise, and Elise is now soliciting the Black Panthers to go after this guy and get justice for Omar. But Omar, again, he's like, yeah, you know, won't you go out there and do that? You know, go find this guy, you know? And he's like, yeah, I want to be with you still. Because before he was like, yeah, don't come back to the jail. I don't want you to see me like this. Right? But now that he got a name, he's like, well, maybe I can get out. Maybe we can get together. But Elise is messing around with the guy from the Black Panthers named Sadiq now. She's moved on from Omar because Omar told her, hey, you know, don't come back. And when you tell a woman don't come back, they're going to try to move on to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Or they're going to move on to somebody else. And that's exactly what she did. But she got the Black Panthers to go with her and find this guy, Kareem, to try to get justice for Omar, because Omar was wrongly accused of shooting Malcolm X. Okay? So, I mean, Elise, I give it up to Elise, man. She's just like taking out blades, and they found Kareem. They beat him down. They got him to give up not a name, but call the white dude that kind of gave him the money. Okay? And they set up a meet. Now, my mind was, at the end of the day, Kareem got popped by the white guy because they rolled up on him. Hey, Kareem, and popped him, and he's done. So in my mind, that was a bad plan. That was a bad plan. Like, you should had them meet up in a warehouse somewhere. You know what I'm saying? And kept Kareem safe, because Kareem was the one that popped Malcolm X. Should have kept him safe. You should have kept Kareem safe instead of putting him in harm's way just to find out who the white guy was. Was it CIA? Was it FBI? You know, they Black Panthers. They trying to get down to it. Afina Shakur, as you see right next to Elise right there, that's Tupac's mom back in the day. She was right there. So they should have came up with a better plan, because the dudes just rolled up and popped Kareem and ran off. So they don't know still, and they don't have a contact. They probably don't even have a number at this point, because, you know, it was just a bad plan. It was just a bad plan, you know? So overall, man, I thought this episode was a good episode. We see right here, she made that happen. Mamie made that happen. Overall, I thought it was a good episode. Stella is now down with Bumpy and your boy Banano. And what she said was, this is what Stella said. Because Banana was like on some like, hey, you know, maybe you shouldn't get your tits involved with that. And she's like, yeah, you don't want to get your little peck involved with it either, right? She can hang with the best of them because you know who her dad is. Her dad is Chin. So they're down with each other, okay? And now Bumpy can move forward because he has at least two of the families that's down with him. So if Joe Colombo is taken out, the two families, Bonanno and the Genovese family. I don't know when it became the Genovese family, because her name is Stella Gigante. Her father's Chin Gigante. I don't know if Genovese is like the grandmother's name or whatever, but all of a sudden now it's the Genovese family. But whatever. Bonanno, Genovese family, they down with Bumpy. So if they do take out your boy Colombo, then at least these two families will have Bumpy's back. We'll see if that happens. But the way they made it seem, okay, they made it seem like your boy Pettigrew was going to go up in there to the St. Clair's while your man is being sung to by the fake Frank Sinatra. Hey, this goes out to Joe Colombo. He has my back. I have his back. And he was like, fly me to the room, to the moon, right? And it looked like when Pettigrew went through that back service door, it looked like he was going to go up in there and take out Joe Colombo. And I like how they wrote this, because I was on the edge of my seat like, yo, is he going to take him out for real? Like, is he going to prove himself? Is he trying to prove himself to Bumpy? You know what I'm saying? Like, is he going to do it to prove himself to Bumpy that he was right? Take him out, boom. I didn't know what was going to happen. All I know is that when he rolled up in there and went next to Joe Colombo and said, hey, man, we need to talk. And he's like, what do we need to talk about? And Pettigrew's like, yo, we need to talk about my partnership with you. And I'm like, this guy Pettigrew, man. I never thought that Pettigrew would turn his back on Bumpy and betray Bumpy in this way. Now, when we talk about partnership, of course, Bumpy has been telling Colombo, listen, I'm not selling nothing for you. You know what I'm saying? So he said he has no use for Bumpy, but he may have use for Pettigrew selling Doogie in Harlem. Now, I don't think that's going to happen, even if he does. Now, Pettigrew, he's street smart. But you can't forget he was partners with Chance, and he has a vendetta against Frank Lucas. He's definitely jealous of Frank Lucas and how Frank has gotten so close to Bumpy. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's now kind of Bumpy's right-hand man. And I was surprised because, like I said, I thought Chance, you know, the guy in the middle with the brown jacket, I thought Chance would be the one that would be way more jealous than Pettigrew. But Pettigrew, all the way on the left, yeah, this guy pretty much betrayed. Now, is this part of the plan? That's the question. Is this part of the plan? You know, did Bumpy have a conversation with Pettigrew? Did Bumpy sit down and, you know, talk with Pettigrew? And is this a setup? Because the way it looks from the outside in, it looks like Pettigrew is betraying Bumpy. But maybe there was a conversation had with Pettigrew to make it look like he's going to go in there and sell Doogie just to get close to Joe Colombo and not only destroy Joe Colombo, but get St. Clair's back and get the money. So maybe it's a bigger plan. Maybe what we see is not what it seems. That Pettigrew went and said, hey, let's partner up. I'll sell the Doogie in Harlem if Bumpy doesn't want to sell it. You know what I'm saying? So we got to really kind of maybe this is Bumpy's plan, and they came to an agreement and said, hey, you know what? You want to take him out? Let's do it in a bigger way. Not just jig him with a knife and then it's over. We got to get St. Clair's back. We got to get the money that we lost, that he stole from us. We got to get a lot of stuff back. So let's hit him from the inside out. That's what I'm thinking, you know? But you guys, drop your comments below. Let me know. Do you think this is part of Bumpy's plan, or is Pettigrew just so mad, jealous of Frank Lucas, right? Mad at Bumpy because he thinks Bumpy is not making the right decision since he had a heart attack. Mad at Chance because Chance took Frank Lucas's side and Bumpy's side. You guys drop your comments below. Let me know what you thought about the episode, what you thought about this whole plan and the ending, the surprise ending, where now we see that Pettigrew may be getting down with Joe Colombo. Is Joe Colombo getting out of this season, or is Bumpy Johnson going to take him out? Well, in real life, from what I read, Joe Colombo was still alive, well into, I think it was the 70s or the 80s. But I think something happened to him, like physically, where he wasn't able to kind of like be the same Joe Colombo. Like something happened to him. Either he got hurt or he got maimed or something like that, or some type of medical issue. And he wasn't the same Joe Colombo. You know what I'm saying? That's in real life. So let's see what happens next on the next episode of Godfather of Harlem. I believe this is this 8 or 9? I think this is 8. This is episode 8 from what I remember seeing. And then we got like 2 more episodes to go. So yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. What do you guys think? If you're watching the show, do you like the show? Oh, you see the Lord Bison says 1 episode left. So this was episode 9? Dang, maybe I want it to be 8. Maybe I want it to be 8 and there's 2 more episodes left. With 1 episode left, it would be nice, a nice twist if Pettigrew and Bumpy set it up. Yeah, Bumpy did explain chess to Frank. Yeah, that's because of who we know Bumpy to be, and he's a very, very intelligent man. Like from what I've learned of Bumpy actually was, what was he, an accountant or something like that? Bumpy came up to New York to be an accountant, I think. Yeah, and he went to get a loan. From what I heard, from what I read, he went to get a loan from the bank, and they said, we don't give loans to Negroes. So he had to resort to another way, which was the Doogie. And pretty much he kind of took over Harlem. You know what I'm saying? He came up from, was it South Carolina? Yeah. And that's why he's taking a liking to, you know, Frank Lucas, after Frank Lucas did what he did to get Bumpy's wife's jewelry back. You know what I'm saying? Support Gamer says modern women are only after money. Dang. Is that true? Ladies, is that true? Chime in below. Are you just strictly after money? Or is it about love, right? Come on. Where's the love? Where's the love? Okay? Y'all still love. Y'all still want love at the end of the day, right? Right, ladies? Come on, chime in below. Okay. So, man, I could have sworn this was episode 8. But if it's episode 9, all good. I mean, it's leading up to a real big bang at the end. So I'm looking forward to what that's going to be like. Family, what's your predictions? Do you think, like I said, do you think Pettigrew and Bumpy had a conversation and this was all part of Bumpy and Pettigrew's plan to get inside with Joe Colombo because he's smiling. He thinks he's on top right now. He's giving out speeches. That's what Bonanno said. He's like, man, this guy's up there for the Italian civil rights. He's up there like Martin Luther King. We got to get rid of him. I'm like, wow. I'm like, wow, Bonanno, you wow. So if this is a plan by Bumpy Pettigrew, it's a great plan because remember, Bumpy still needs to get St. Clair's back. If he doesn't want to sell Aduji, he has to get St. Clair's back in order to secure his assets, his apartment, his businesses, remember? So the bank is only giving him a couple of months. He still has to make a major move. And with Bonanno and Stella down with Bumpy to take out Colombo, and you know Colombo offered Stella like, hey, you know, I need a queen. I need a queen. So he's trying to marry her, not for love, but for business. Right? But he's still feeling her. He wants to smash again. But she's just like, yo, I'm not in love with you, dog. So she made a move and making moves now with Bonanno and Bumpy. Family, drop your thoughts, your predictions below. Like I said, let me look it up real quick. I could have sworn this was the second to the left. This is like, let me see. Yeah, I guess you're right, man. Dang. Crazy, dog. I guess you're right. I wanted it to be episode 8. Yeah, Black and White is episode 9. You're right, Lord Bison. Dang. Because episode 10 is Unity Day, right? Unity Day. So, yeah, this is episode 9. So, man, and I hope it works. I hope I can get my recap out. Just updating it. Hope I can get my recap out. And man, and we may go live again. We may go live for the season finale. Talk about it. If you're watching it, if you're watching Godfather of Harlem, definitely hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you're here for the very first time. Let me see. Lord Bison says, remember, Bumpy started out working with the Queen. Stephanie St. Clair, yeah. Who he named the club after, yeah. Yep. I remember. I really remember it from the movie Hoodlum, right? Because Cicely Tyson played her, right? That was good. I like that movie. Right? Hoodlum, right? Yeah. With Lawrence Fishburne played Bumpy Johnson in Hoodlum. Yeah. So, yeah. Good. I mean, look, we're going to see what happens, man. If there's a twist to it, I'm looking forward to the twist. That's what I'm looking forward to. All right, family. So you know what it is, fam. I appreciate y'all for coming through. Just want to come live. Didn't want to hold you too long. I'll be back in the street going live real soon, so look out for that. But yeah, I just got to figure some things out so I can make sure that my recap videos are uploaded, even if it's 27 minutes, 30 minutes or whatever, because I did one last week. I don't know. We're going to figure it out. All right. Appreciate y'all for coming through for real. And yes, rest in peace to Ms. Cicely Tyson, man. You know what? Shout out to Tyler Perry. Again, shout out to Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry gave her $1 million for one day's work, man, before she passed away. And he said she deserved it, right? So I don't know no other executive producer doing that. But again, that's another story for another time. We'll talk about that another time. All right, family, I appreciate you all for coming through. It's your man, VACAY-J. You know what it is, man. Thank you, family, for rocking with your boy. Absolutely. I'll see you next time in the next live. All right. Until next time. Salute.
VACAY-JayTV.